I would say for the first time in a very long time, I had the most mediocre reading month because November was just so fucking mediocre. I read about 8 books in total. All of them were romance, which was interesting, but I did not have any 5-star reads this month. Hell, I had one 4-star read, a lot of 3-star reads, one 2-star read, and definitely one 1-star read. So yeah, not the best month when you think about it. And in all honesty, I think that this is probably going to be one of the shortest wrap-ups I've ever done because most of these books were just blah, and I felt no intense emotions, but I'll just go with the ones I felt really strong objections and emotions for. Starting from the 1-star I had this month, Neanderthal 6 Human by Penny Reid. You would think, how do I explain this? What is this book about? This book is about a girl, Jenny, who loses her job and is escorted out of the building by handsome McCutpan's security guard, Quinn Sullivan. Yes, that's just basically the entire premise of this book. This book follows what exactly happens when you have a character who is book smart but is lacking in complete and utter common sense. Like, there is an absolute lack of common sense in Janie, and oh god, I wanted to go into this book and shake her so hard. There are certain things I cannot stand in a character, and that usually always affects my reading experience, and that is if a character is willfully stupid. I'm definitely going to have a lot of objections to it, and I had a lot of objections to the level of stupidity that Janie was displaying in this book. Take, for example, you go to a club you've never been to. Clearly you're not necessarily comfortable with all the things you're seeing. Someone you don't know just randomly offers you a drink, and the bartender comes and says, oh, someone bought you a drink. You ask, who is it from? The bartender says, that's oops, I can't say, or otherwise I'll lose my job. And you willingly down the drink. And then when someone else comes, when Quinn comes and tells you that, oh, they want you to go upstairs, don't go upstairs, upstairs ain't safe, you're left alone, your friend has an emergency in the hospital that she works at, so she leaves you and tells you, oh, go home. You then get it into your head that I am woman, hear me roar, nobody shall control me. And you go back alone to a strange club you've never been to go meet the people that bought you the strange drink that you have no idea what's in it. Like, what level of obtuseness does this character have to display? Like, I can't wrap my head around it. Or the fact that she never could tell that this security guard is seemingly dressed in very expensive clothing for being a security guard, that, oh, everybody addresses him as Mr. Sullivan, that he conveniently has a business card with his name printed on it and could give you the number of somebody when you needed a job, and the person called you and was like, oh, you got a job. And all this while you think that, yeah, security guards do that. I don't know about what happens in the States or in other parts of the world, but over here in Nigeria, security guards don't go about, they don't have business cards. Talk less of actually going about handing them over willy-nilly with their names printed. It is not done. Like, what level of dumbness, what level of... Who gets fired and thinks that, yes, my company is going to send me home in a limo? There are so many. They think she's meant to question, she doesn't question them. They think she's not meant to question, she questions them. And then here is the part I could not stand. Okay, 2 things I could not stand about this character. 1, the fact that she's so fucking judgmental. She's so fucking... oh god, she loves labels, she sticks to labels. It is so fucking annoying because there was a part where Queen challenged her and talked about how our easy labeling of people, it can actually counter stereotyping. And I thought that they were really going to go, like Penny Reid was really going to take that a step further and have Janie realize just exactly how big of a dick she's been. But no, she's offended at it, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you cannot just categorize it as, oh, someone does this and does this automatically stupid, someone does this and does this automatically foolish. Like, that is not how life works. People have shades, people are nuanced, and the fact that this character does not realize that. 2, she never realizes, and she still continues going through life with that perception just fucking grated on my nerves. Let's not even get started on the fact that she consistently kept calling the women that Queen, that's the love interest, was having sex with before she met him, she kept calling them slams. And I don't know, like, I just legitimately kept popping into my head, slams being a mixture of slut and tramp. And I was so fucking livid because she called them slams so many times. It was so fucking derogatory and so fucking annoying. I just wanted to go into this book and punch her in her fucking face. Speaking of her fucking face, this stupid ass girl is legitimately convinced that she's ugly. Like, you're almost 6 foot tall. You have model height. You have big boobs. You have big ass. You have a tiny waist. You have red hair. You have green eyes. And you're legitimately going to fucking look at me and say that you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, boo-hoo, I'm not attractive. Boys don't like me. Men don't like me. Men blah, blah, blah. This fucking ass white bitch. Yeah. I gave it a 1 star. I gave it a 1 star because the character was stupid. I gave it a 1 star because the entire plot of the story made no sense. Legitimately, that's the entire story. She loses her job. The supposed security man escorts her out. She flounders looking for a job. She has an ex-boyfriend that apparently... Don't even get me started on that. Like, that is definitely wandering into way too much spoiler territory. But she has a dick of an ex-boyfriend who wants to take care of her. And then she flounders for a while until the security guy supposedly hooks her up with a job. She does her job. She dates the security guy. And then all of a sudden, out of the blues, we get this whole bit of plot twist of, oh, drama, oh, suspense, oh, danger. Her sister is a fucking ass. This book legitimately took me 2 weeks to read. It put me in so bad of a reading slump. This was the last book I read in November. And it took me 2 weeks. I could not read anything else because I was just constantly annoyed. And I was listening to this audio and just being in her head was so fucking annoying. And there was no break. It was her head for 14 hours of this goddamn book. So no, I gave it a 1 star. I sincerely hope that the rest of the books in the series are good. That is just this character I hate. But if it is that this is how all the characters in this entire series behave, then I'm going to definitely be doing a hard pass on the Knitting in the City series because no, I value my peace of mind too much to put myself through that. And speaking of valuing my peace of mind and going through shit, the next book on the list, In the Unlikely Event by LJ Shen. Now, if it is that you spend time on my channel, you know that LJ Shen, I discovered LJ Shen with our Sinners of Saints series, and Vicious is one of my absolute favorite book. Like, it ranks really high up there for me for LJ Shen, and every single book she's written on to then has been like, oh, can they match Vicious's perfection? And I'm sad to say that I think I'm Boo Boo the Fool. I've been taking the fall because it seems like LJ Shen just cannot touch Vicious, cannot touch the perfection that is Vicious, because In the Unlikely Event was just garbage, absolute trash. But before I go into conversations about all the many reasons, things that I hate about In the Unlikely Event, what is this book about? Well, basically it's just all about, Rory and Maliki, who met like almost 10 years ago in Ireland when she traveled back in order to, say goodbye to a father that she had always had but never had any relationship with. They had this magical time together, and then they made this vow on a napkin that in the unlikely event that they ever meet again in the future, they would, and even if it is that they are with somebody or they are dating somebody or they are about to marry somebody, they'll drop all things and just, be together. That's the big thing about In the Likely Event. But the caveat is that they will not willfully go looking for the other person. They'll just let it happen. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And 10 years later, Maliki is now a famous songwriter. Rory is working for the record label. She's a photographer for the record label that wants him to write a song for one of their stars, for one of their musicians. And they meet again, but things have changed. It's not the Maliki she knew from the past. This Maliki actively hates her, and Rory does not know why. But the problem is that even with all this hatred, she's been forced/conscripted to work with him for the song is writing for one of our label's biggest stars. And that is just basically the premise of this entire story. I gave it 2 stars, and I'll explain the reason why I gave it 2 stars instead of 1 star, because I definitely would have given it 1 star in a heartbeat. What can I say? I hate. Other than I hate the whole, I'm not like other girls, I'm quirky, and also I'm not pretty like other girls, even though every single man I've encountered is crazy attracted to me. That was Neanderthal meets human with regards to what's his name, Janie. Yes, oh god, I can't wait to forget that book. In the Unlikely Event, it's built on miscommunication, and I hate that. Like, if you legitimately pulled away the miscommunication that is this book has nothing. Like, this book has no story. The entire premise, the entire story is based off of miscommunication. It's based off of Maliki Doherty being dumb as fucking bricks, to not even take any other person's opinions or thoughts into, like, to not get an alternate thought or opinion into something. Someone tells him something about a character, he immediately buys it, and that's just it. And the miscommunication that just flowed from that, I was just like, this is so fucking stupid. The second reason why I hated this book, oh my god, why this book just grated on my nerves. I don't know why it is that society likes to trivialize the rape of men. Like, we get all outraged when it's a woman that is raped, but when it's a man, you're all perfectly fine. And I am definitely entering spoiler territory, but this is a spoiler that I think you really need to know, so that before you enter this stupid ass book, like, if I'd known the full details of this, I probably would not have, not probably, I would not have wasted my credit, my Audible credit, buying this book. Like, I hated this book so much. The minute I finished it, I exchanged it back for my credit, and I just told Audible, like, I hated this book. That is why I wanted it exchanged, because I hated this book. Hated this. Okay, let me go back to what I was talking about, the rape. I don't know why as a society we like to trivialize the rape of men. It is not fucking cool. Men do not deserve to be raped. Like, there is absolutely nothing. They legitimately was a character who, I don't care if you have been in love with him for the past 20 years. It does not mean that he absolutely has to be attracted to you. It does not mean that you have any right to rape him. It does not mean that you have any right to take that choice away from him. She got him totally and completely sloshed, ignored him, telling her multiple times that he did not want to, no, get off me, and decided to disvirgin herself up on him, got pregnant, manipulated his relatives, and basically got everybody to pressurize him into marrying her, you know. And then when they married, and she discovered that he was still in love with the girl that he has been in love with, she gets angry, and I'm like, no, you don't get the chance to do so. You don't get the chance to do, like, oh, why can't you forget Rory? You manipulated him. He should have pressed charges. I don't give a shit how many times LJ Shen is going to write things from the perspective of the fucking ass ghosts telling me I'm the villain, but you see, I loved him. I don't give a shit that you love him. That is in love. If you love somebody, you will not commit such a heinous crime against them. Such an heinous act against them. It's just not something that you would think of when you love somebody. This is absolute garbage. This was absolute trash. And then the old forgiveness thing, Maliki didn't tell anybody, and I'm like, why? You were raped. You should be pressing charges. But he didn't tell anybody. He allowed himself, like, oh god, I can't even deal. And of course, it will not be an LJ Shen story if there is no child born as a result of the rape, because, you know, I don't think she can write a story without ultimately bringing it back to a child was conceived as a result of the rape. Like, who is surprised? Show of hands. I just can't. And then, goddamn, the amount of stupidity in this book, the amount of people. Rory, the lead character, fell over so fucking easily. She deserved better. She deserved a lot of apologies. The town folks were fucking annoying. Even Maliki, the stupidity, the thing she had to put up with Maliki, and then she forgave him so easily. Like, why? What? This entire book was just. I gave it a 2 stars because, you know, one, there was this amazing ass chocolate bar scene that's perfect, and I gave it a 2 stars because of, like, you know, the different scenes that we got, the different perspective we got for certain beings, inanimate beings, because all the people in this book, other than Rory, they're all trash. Even our best friend, trash. Everything trash. There's the chocolate bar, there's the napkin perspective, which showed up twice, which I even love the second voice more, and then the cow. Those are the 3 reasons. The 3 reasons why this got bumped to a 2 stars for me, because they made me laugh. Other than that, this book should have been a 1 star. I'm just offended. Like, I cannot believe I spent money on this book. Why? I repeat, if Angry God turns out to be a mess like this, I'll be so fucking offended. So fucking offended. Can I also say I hated the fact that there was cheating in the story. And then there was not the fact that the person being cheated on was an absolute, complete, total, utter garbage, trash, asshole. And I think that the only reason why LJ Shen really did that is to kind of sort of justify the cheating, which let's just forget about it. Let's just forget about the likely event. Next, I read the first book in the Outdated Douchebag series by Sarah Ney. That's the Studying Hours, where we have 2 characters. We have Osborne and we have Jameson Clark. And the story just basically follows the 2 of them, whereby Oz's teammate asks him to kiss Jameson on a bet, and he basically approaches her, tells her that, you know what, my friends want me to kiss you on a bet. She can't stand him, but they kiss, fireworks ensues, blah blah blah. They slowly, this was one of those no drama type stories, but I think that I kind of got burnt out on the amount of new adults I've been reading of late, because this was not special. It didn't have the so many layers to it that we got with the off-campus series by Kennedy, and I didn't have the strong friendship, really tight friendship bond slash family that I got with the Smart Jog series by Rebecca Genshuk. So it was just kind of in the middle for me. I gave it a 3 stars. It was nothing really special. I love the fact that there was no unnecessary drama. Would have liked that if the story had more depth, yes, but I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. It was just right in the middle for me. It was a 3-star read. I love the fact that we slowly saw their relationship evolve from us like having this misconception about Jameson to them, developing a friendship, to them becoming closer, and then the attraction builds, and then of course the relationship happens and the sex happens. Like I enjoyed it. It wasn't earth-shattering, nothing moved, nothing shook, nothing changed for me, but it was a pretty decent read. I gave it 3 stars. The only problem was probably because of the fact that there was just this annoying ass way that Oz tended to talk that just grated on my nerves. His voice was just sometimes very, very annoying, and he just said the most outrageous things, but sometimes they made me laugh, so it was okay. But after that, I read the second book in the series, and that is The Failing Hours, in which we follow Oz's friend and teammate and roommate Zeke Daniels and Violet. He is failing one of his courses. He needs a tutor. Violet is a tutor, but the way in which they met was so fucking funny. And like, Violet had balls. Like, she had balls, but she was also very warm and nurturing and kind, even based on what it is that she had experienced. And I liked how they were kind of like a fall for each other, in the sense that they had experienced a little similarity in their life experience, in the fact that one of them didn't have parents, one of them had absentee parents and all of that, and there was just that hole in their self. But whereas Violet filled that hole by being warm and nurturing and kind and giving her heart to others, Zeke filled the hole by being an absolute complete utter douchebag. In fact, I think douchebag is even nice. It was a fucking asshole, and it was an asshole for so much of this book that I was just like, this boy can never be redeemed. It was slightly redeemed, but there was this part of when he had the audacity to tell Violet that she does not understand what he was feeling or what he had experienced with regards not having parents, and she lashed out at him. Her lashing out at him was what bumped this book to a 3-star for me, because initially, for most of the book, I was just like, okay, I was not laughing as much as I did with Oz's story in The Studying Hours, so I was just like, it was just kind of bland. I was giving it a 2 stars. But that part where Violet lit into his ass and was just like, no punches bad, she legitimately went and tore him to shreds. Like, that part was just so fucking great, and it bumped it into a 3-star for me. But just like I said with The Studying Hours, this series for me, or rather this first 2 books in this series for me, was just nothing special. It was okay. My mind wasn't totally and completely blown. It wasn't bad. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. It was just coasting there. But I enjoyed Violet. I enjoyed the Big Brother program. I love how it is that we slowly unravel the different layers that made Zeke. I love that at the heart of it, it was just like I said, they were perfect foils for each other, and it just showed the different ways in which we cope with our parents not being there. So I gave it a 3 stars. I would have given it more, but like I said, Zeke was just too much of an asshole, too much of a douchebag for most of this book, like a lot of this book. And it was not a douchebag that I found very, very engaging. I don't know, it didn't draw me in, Even his friends couldn't stand him, and that's saying a lot. Another average book I read in November was Good Boy, which was the first book in the WAG, that's the Wife and Girlfriend series, that was co-written by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. It's a spin-off of Him and Us, which was written by those 2 authors. In this book, we follow Jess and Blake. Now, Jess is, if you remember, she's Jamie's sister. She was the one that came and was basically, she was the one that was playing his nurse along with Blake back when Jamie was ill in Us. And we find out the reason why, Jamie kept thinking I was hearing sounds while he was ill. It was because those 2 kind of hooked up, instead of when they should have been looking out for him. And when he had his second trip to the hospital, as a result of that, their relationship kind of didn't really take off because Jess felt guilty. Blake, though, was nothing if not persistent. And if you remember from Him and Us, if you read those 2 books, you will know just how persistent he is. He doesn't take no, he always pushes, he always bounces back. And then when you realize exactly the reason why he is the way he is, it's kind of endearing. But I'm not gonna lie, this was a pretty average read. I would say that it didn't blow me away like I did, like Aim and Us did. I enjoyed second chance romance. It's just that for the longest time, Blake just, it's his way of speaking, his excessiveness was just way too much, and I think that I could tolerate him more in Him and Us, because Him and Us, it was not the center of the story. But in this book, it was the center of the story. Although when we meet his family, I love his mother. Then you realize just where all of this is coming from, and I did enjoy it. But like I said, it was an average read. I gave it 3 stars. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I love the fact that Jess was. I love the fact that we saw a character that kept over and over trying to, look for what she was meant to do in life, because I think in a lot of books and even in real life, we tend to believe that, okay, the minute you hit a certain age, you have your life figured out, you're following this particular journey, you're following this particular track, and you would get to where you want to go. And people forget that life does not necessarily work out that way. Sometimes you don't figure it out. Sometimes you think you figure it out, but you have to change your mind. And I love the fact that we saw that with Jess, even with the fact that, a lot of people thought she was a screw up because she kept going back and forth and kept changing what it is that she wanted to do. But when she finally did figure it out, it was just, I was so happy for her, and I was so happy because it totally fit who she is, who we know her to be. And yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it, but it didn't blow my mind. So 3 stars. And then I read the second book in the series, which is Stay, and in this we follow Haley and Matt. Now Matt is the captain of the hockey team that's both Blake and Wes's hockey teams, and in Toronto, and see, he's dealing with a divorce, and we've already seen the part, or rather we've already seen him going through that divorce in Us as well as in Good Boy. But by the time we get to Stay, it has been for quite a while now, and is now interested in the woman who runs the virtual assistant service that he's been using to meet all his needs, whether it is to walk his dog or to furnish his apartment or to buy things for the kids, etc., etc. And that woman is Ailey. And Ailey, though, even though it is that she tries to maintain this anonymity in her business, she suspects that she knows exactly who this customer is, and she's a big hockey fan, and like Matt Erickson, the hockey player, has been not just the star of our fantasies, but also the ultimate favorite, one of our favorite hockey players. She knows all his stats. She's a very big fan, and she's also dealing with life after divorce, because she co-owns her business with her ex-husband. And you have these two divorced people find love. I always like second chance stories like that, because I think in a lot of romance novels we tend to always tell the story of course everybody wants a happy ever after. We also want it to be that, oh, when you find love, it stays and it endures. But sometimes that is not how things work out, and I like the fact that this story was all about two divorces finding love again and together, and it was just magical. And other than Wes and Jamie from Him and Us, a lot of the other hockey themed books I've read, I've not really had characters who have been so into hockey. So being able to see Ailey be not just a girlfriend and a love interest, but also a big hockey fan, and how it interacts and features in our life was just very entertaining to see. I loved her exuberance. I loved how much she loved the sport, and I just liked seeing them together. But just like with Good Boy, it was just pretty average. Nothing necessarily happened. Their relationship developed the way, few hitches along the way, just one, but it resolved itself pretty quickly. So it's not a book that I would necessarily say made an impression on me, but it was not a book I hated. I actually did enjoy it when I read it. It was a pretty fast, quick read, and I gave it 3 stars when I was done. And then I read Wall Street Titan by Anna Zers. I'm going to admit, this is one of those books that end on a cliffhanger, which I was really offended by, because I wanted the story to end. But the way in which it ended, you definitely have an idea of how the second book in the series would go, and I'm just anticipating reading that. But even with that, I still give this book a 3 star. In this book, we follow the Wall Street Titan / billionaire / hedge fund manager Marcus Corelli, who is looking for the perfect wife and who signs up for a matchmaking service in order to get that perfect wife. He wants someone so far removed from the way in which he grew up. So he wants someone with pedigree, someone who is rich, someone with, a certain type of upbringing, a certain type of class. And the matchmaking service, the matchmaker he meets, sets him up on a date with this person. Of course, he's very busy, so he never does look at this person's profile, and he just goes for his date. And then you have Emma, who is your cat lady. She loves her cat. She has 3 of them. two of them adorable, one of them annoying, but she loves them all equally. And she works in a bookstore. She's not been dating much. She's definitely falling into the in the comfortable zone of being a cat lady. And her friend urges her, to use the dating service that she had initially signed up for and try and get laid, go out, date. And so she does. So she's meeting somebody. Marcus is meeting someone else, but there's a mix up with regards to the names and the time, and they end up meeting first before they go on the other dates. But Marcus can't stop thinking about Emma, and so in the way in which he's always done his business and the way in which he's always done his life is he pursues her, he courts her. Of course, he does this all with the expectation of wanting to get into her pants at first, but then emotions develop as a result of it, and next thing you know, he can't stop thinking about her. He can't stop thinking about her to the point that he does something very stupid close to the end of the book. And that is why I said, even though it ended on a cliffhanger, I actually did enjoy the ending, and I'm looking forward to the second book because Emma refuses to back down. She reads him for filth. She decides that nope, she deserves better than this, and now he has to put in extra effort to win her back. And I loved it. I enjoyed it. I loved seeing the way in which their relationship progressed. I loved seeing how gradually he grew to respect her and how she started to see all the things about him. I do think though that one even though I would say that what happened at the end was probably a flaw, but Marcus just seemed so perfect, for a lot of things. And I was just kind of like, I gave it a 3 stars. I gave this book a 3 stars because even though I enjoyed it, eventually the entire story was just pretty vanilla and just pretty straight. The cat, I loved the cats. I think okay, Juno, let me be honest. I think I would give it a 3.5 stars, but it's not the 3.5 stars that will round up to 4 stars. It's the 3.5 stars that will round out to 3 stars because I loved it enough, but I don't think it's 4 stars, but I think it's probably a perfect 3.5. So like I said, I enjoyed it. I love Emma. I love the fact that she's at the start of the story, she was really comfortable with her life, with what she was doing, but by the end of the story she realized that she deserved more. She wanted more, not just with regards to relationship, but with regards to her job, with regards to her dreams and where she sees herself. And I'm rooting for her, and I'm looking forward to her kicking ass and doing so well with that. But yeah, I gave it a 3.5 stars. Not bad at all. Next, I read The Brightest by Ellen Huang. This is I won't say it's a second, because it's not really a series, but kind of like a series. Okay, so this is the book that follows the Kiss Quotient by Ellen Huang. If you remember, I really, really loved this book and I was really looking forward to reading this book. And even though this book, I also loved it, I didn't love it as much as Kiss Quotient, so I gave it a 4 stars. In this book, we follow Kai. Kai is on the spectrum, but his mother wants him to get married. She wants grandbabies, and so she travels to Vietnam in order to find him a bride, and that is where she runs into, I'm not sure if it's My or Me. Just let me know down in the comment bar below. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but she runs into Me and makes her an offer. She should travel with her to the States to meet her son. If Me is able to get Kai to fall in love with her, they'll get married, yada yada yada. And Me, wants that chance because she has a child, she has a mother, she has a grandmother, she's the one that is taking care of them, but she knows that based on her educational level and the amount of money that her family has, she can't really provide for a family the way she wants to. And so she thinks this is a great opportunity, so she travels to the States. She changes her name. She's Esme, who is out to seduce Kai, and the question is that how will that work out for them? Would Kai, who has convinced himself that he cannot love, that he's not capable of love, that his heart is made up of stone, would he be able to legitimately love Esme? Would Esme choose to settle? I'm proud to say that she doesn't. I'm proud to say that she takes her ground. She wants love. She wants the happy moment. She does love Kai. She finds him attractive. She finds him charming. She finds him kind. She finds him in so many ways perfect for her, but she wants more and she demands it. Now, with the way I'm smiling, I'm certain you're thinking, oh my god, Bonoria, you love this book, so why are you not giving it a 5 stars? I think it's because there's just a slight bit of manipulation of Kai from quite a lot of people in his family. Like I know it's a case of they understand the kind of person he is, but I do think that there were some things that they said that, oh no, Kai wouldn't mind, oh Kai would not like this, but it's what is good for Kai. That underlying thought that runs through this book is what just made it soured it slightly for me, so I gave it a 4 stars. But as with all of Ellen Wang's I won't say all of, because she's only written one book so far, but with Elu Hong's style, you know, she's able to give us this feeling of family and also rightness, as also writing people on the spectrum as being actual real life people, multidimensional. And as always, when you get to the author's note at the back, I felt all the emotions, because she was talking about how, you know, her mother inspired her, and I was crying as well. It was just so emotional. As someone whose mother had to make a lot of sacrifices for myself as well to get me to where I currently am, I did relate with that, and it made me emotional. So yes, I enjoyed this book. I loved it. I think the sex was, as always, scorching hot. Hot. And as always, the sense of family, the wonder, the hilarity in the book, trying to see two separate people, you know, meet, and how they meet, and how well they connect, and how well they are great for each other, was just really lovely and romantic to see. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It was definitely the one book I enjoyed the most in this entire reading month. But yeah, those were all the books I read in November, all 8 of them. Like I said, it was definitely kind of a very mediocre month. I'm certain that this is just the universe trying to pay me back for the blast I had in October. But yeah, that is my wrap up. Let me know which books you read and loved this month. As always, you all know I like to consistently increase my what's the word I'm looking for? I'm always looking to increase my TBR. So what are some of the amazing books you read this month? Let me know down in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos. Subscribe if you want to. I make new videos every Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays usually, although now I'm trying to think about like adding some videos whenever I feel like it as well. So just click on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. And I will see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.